You are standing in the parking lot of your office building, holding a cardboard box. It's 4:17 p.m. on a Tuesday in March 2026. The box weighs less than you expected. Inside it, a coffee mug your daughter painted in kindergarten, a notebook, 3 pens, and a single laminated card from your father's wallet you've kept in your desk for 6 years. You are 30 years old. You earned $94,000 last year. 40 minutes ago, you had a job. Now you do not. The HR woman called it a workforce realignment. Your phone has 19 new LinkedIn notifications and 1 text from your wife. You have not opened it yet. This is the moment everything starts. Level 1, age 30, the layoff. The drive home takes 43 minutes because you take the long way. You don't want to walk into your apartment in Queens with the box still in your hands. You stop at a gas station on Northern Boulevard and sit in the parking lot for 20 minutes. Radio plays. You don't hear it. Your name is on a list with 1,000 other 30-year-olds. The cycle began in November. AI restructuring, they call it. The middle layer of every company is being asked to prove it still exists. You did not prove it. Your savings account holds $11,200. Your 401k has $48,300, mostly your contributions. You owe $19,400 on a 2022 Honda Civic. Your rent is $2,650 a month. Your wife, Priya, is a nurse. She makes $84,000. Together you were comfortable. Apart from that paycheck, you are not. You finally text her back, coming home, bad day. You don't say more. The car ride takes 20 more minutes. You park. You sit in the driveway. You walk inside. She is making rice. She turns. She sees the box. She does not ask. She walks over, takes the box from your hands, sets it on the floor, and hugs you. You do not cry. Think you might later. You don't. That night at 11:47 p.m., you open a new note on your phone. Type 1 line. Day 1. You don't know what you are tracking yet. You just know that something has to be tracked. The severance package arrives by email 2 days later. 16 weeks of base pay, healthcare through July. A clause about non-disparagement. You sign it on a Thursday morning at the kitchen table. Priya is at work. Sophia, your daughter, is 4. She is eating cereal in the next room. You apply to 43 jobs in 2 weeks. You get 9 rejections, 2 interviews, no offers. The market has changed. Your skills, you realize, were specific to the company. You start reading, not job descriptions, books. The Psychology of Money, Your Money or Your Life. You buy a small leather notebook on Steinway Street for $12.40. You begin to write down every dollar that enters and leaves your house. At level 1, the box is not the end. It is the inventory of what you actually had. Level 2, age 31, the severance. By July, the severance has run out. You have $7,800 left in checking. You have not found a full-time job. You have, however, started taking on freelance contracts. Financial analysis for 2 small CPA firms in New Jersey. Charge $65 an hour. In June, you billed 41 hours. In July 63, the math is starting to do something. Sit at the kitchen table at 6:14 a.m. with the leather notebook open. Priya is still asleep. Sophia is still asleep. You write down the numbers. Freelance income June, $2,665. July, $4,095. Spending June, $5,140. July, $4,820. You are still negative every month, but the gap is closing. You cut your own expenses in half. You cancel 2 streaming subscriptions, 1 gym membership, and a $39 software subscription you forgot existed. You stop eating out. You start cooking the same 5 meals on rotation. The savings are not glamorous. They are $312 a month. You write down every one of them. You meet a man named Daniel at a coffee shop on Vernon Boulevard. He is 35, also laid off 6 months earlier, also freelancing. He tells you, between sips of black coffee, the severance is the runway. What you build during it is the plane. Write that down in the notebook. On a Wednesday in August, you start a 1-person LLC. It costs $200 to file. You name it after your daughter. The first invoice you send under the new entity is for $1,800. You stare at it for a long time before you click send. At night, you and Priya have the conversation. You've been avoiding. You agree to a hard rule. You will not touch the 401k. Whatever happens, whatever it takes. You will not crack the egg. 401k is now at $51,200. You have not added $1 in 9 months. The market did all the work. You stare at the number and feel something. You did not expect to feel a quiet, slow gratitude. In late September, you take on a 5th client. By October, your monthly billings cross $7,000 for the first time. You exhale for the first time in 11 months. It isn't luck, it's gravity. The runway is short, the plane is slow, but the plane is building. At level 2, the runway is not the gift. Runway is the test. Level 3, age 33, the pivot, 2 years after the layoff. The freelance practice is no longer freelance. It is a firm. You have 1 employee, a 24-year-old named Mira, who you pay $58,000 plus health insurance. You operate out of a 220 square foot office above a Korean bakery in Long Island City. The rent is $1,400 a month. The bakery owner, an older woman named Mrs. Han, brings you red bean buns on Friday mornings, refuses to let you pay. Annual revenue this year, $214,000. Your take home after Mira and rent and software, self-employment tax, $128,000. You are making more than your old salary. You are working harder than you have ever worked. And for the first time in your life, every hour you work increases the value of something you actually own. You open a SEP IRA. You contribute $32,000 in the first year. You also begin to invest every 2 weeks into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. The auto deposit is BUT 400. You set it up at 11:09 p.m. on a Tuesday in January. You do not change it for the next 23 years. You meet Theo at an industry conference in Austin. He is 61, semi-retired, gentle, observant, tells you over dinner at a small restaurant called Lola's. The layoff was the best thing that ever happened to you. You just don't know it yet. You don't believe him. You write it down anyway. Sophia is now 7. You take her to the office one Saturday. She sits at Mira's empty desk and draws stick figures. She asks why there are so many numbers on your screen. You tell her, because numbers, when you treat them correctly, can become something else. She doesn't understand. She nods anyway. By the end of year 3 since the layoff, your investment account has $47,800. Your business retained earnings are $61,000. Your home down payment fund is at $34,000. Total liquid net worth, $142,800. Your 401k from your old job, untouched, has crossed $69,000 because the market kept doing its work. You and Priya begin to talk about a house in a small Long Island town. You begin to talk about a second child. You begin to talk about the future as if it is something that belongs to you again. At level 3, the work is no longer surviving. The work is building. Level 4, age 36, the compounding, 6 years after the layoff. Mira is now your director. You have hired 3 more analysts. The firm grosses $810,000 a year. Your personal income after everything, $284,000. You and Priya bought the house. It is a 1957 colonial in a working class suburb, 43 minutes east of the city. You paid $612,000. You put down $124,400, 20%. The mortgage is 6.1%. The monthly payment, including taxes and insurance, is $4,180. You sign the closing documents on a Tuesday in October. Sophia, now 10, runs upstairs and claims the bedroom with the blue trim before you've even unlocked the back door. That night, you sit on the unfinished hardwood of the living room with Priya. There is no furniture yet. You eat pizza out of the box. She leans her head on your shoulder. You whisper, "We did this." She says nothing. She squeezes your hand. Your investment accounts now hold $310,000. Your contributions over 6 years total roughly $186,000. The remaining $124,000, almost 40%, is growth. The market has begun to do more than you do. For the first time in your life, you understand what compounding actually is. It is not a chart. It is a moment. It is the moment when the second derivative of your wealth becomes positive. The moment your money is making more than your hands are. You start to read about real estate, not as a hobby, as a builder. By the end of year 6, you own 1 rental property. Isakir a duplex in a small Pennsylvania city that produces $1,840 a month in net cash flow. The down payment came from 2 years of business retained earnings. You did not touch the index funds. You did not touch the 401k. You built a third pillar. Your father calls in November to tell you he is retiring. He worked for 38 years as an electrician. He is 63. He has $194,000 in his 401k and a paid off house. You do the math in your head while he is talking. He will be okay? Just barely? You don't tell him that. You tell him you are proud of him. You mean it. That night, you write in the leather notebook. The layoff was not the end of one path. It was the beginning of 7. At level 4, the math begins to do more than you do. Level 5, age 41, the threshold. 11 years after the layoff. You have a second daughter now. Her name is Anna. She is 2. Sophia is 15, sharp-tongued, drawing constantly, applying to specialized art high schools. The firm has 15 employees. You have moved into a real office in Long Island City. 3,400 square feet, exposed brick. Your name and Mira's etched on the glass door. Annual revenue, $3.8 million. Your personal take home, $740,000. Your liquid investment portfolio crosses $1 million on a Thursday in April. You see the number on your phone at 7:42 a.m. while you are pouring coffee. You stare at it. You think about the 4:30 afternoon in March, 11 years ago when you walked across that parking lot with a cardboard box. You think about the $11,200 in your checking account. You think about your wife making rice. You set the phone down. You do not tell anyone for 3 days. Then you tell Priya. She cries. She does not know why. You think you might. You don't. The rental portfolio is now 4 properties. A duplex, 2 single-family rentals, small 4-unit in upstate New York. Net monthly cash flow, $19,400. In September, your father has a stroke. He survives. He is in rehab for 11 weeks. The bills, after Medicare, are $44,800. You pay them without thinking. You sit in his hospital room on a Saturday afternoon. He looks at you for a long time. He says, "I never thought one of us would be on this side of this conversation." You take his hand. You do not say anything. The next morning, you set up a 529 plan for Anna, $14,000. You begin to think about what wealth actually is. It is not a number. It is a buffer. It is the distance between your family and the next emergency. At 41, that distance, for the first time in your life, is large. You start mentoring two younger founders, both in their early 30s, both nervous, both undercapitalized. You meet them on Wednesday mornings at a small diner on Steinway. You do not charge them. You think about Theo. You think about what he said in Austin 8 years ago. You think you finally understand. At level 5, the threshold is not the dollar. The threshold is the silence after the dollar. Level 6, age 48, the architecture. 18 years after the layoff. You sold a 30% stake in your firm to a private investor for $4.6 million in cash, an earnout of $2.1 million over 4 years. The deal closes on a Friday in February. Mira, your director since year 3, becomes co-CEO. You become chairman. You stop coming to the office every day. You start coming 3 days a week. Your liquid net worth, $5.8 million. Real estate equity, $2.3 million across 9 units. 401k you never touched. Now 18 years older, has crossed $410,000 with no contributions since you were 30. The original $48,300 you walked away from. It became almost $500,000 by doing nothing but sitting. You think about that often. Sophia is 22. She graduated from a state art school with $11,400 in student debt that you paid off in a single transfer the day after the ceremony. She is moving to a studio apartment in Brooklyn. She is starting her first job designing for a publishing house at $61,000 a year. You take her to lunch on a Sunday in May at a small Italian place she chose. She tells you between bites, "I'm not going to be rich, Dad. Not the way you are." You smile. You say, "That wasn't the goal." Anna is 9. She plays the violin badly. She loves it anyway. You watch her practice on a Tuesday night and you think about your father, who is now 74, sitting in his recliner in the same suburban house he raised you in. You begin to think about something larger. You set up a small donor-advised fund with $200,000. You direct it toward 2 community organizations in Queens that work with families recently laid off in the second AI restructuring wave. You do not put your name on it. You write the check and you sign it and you fold it into an envelope and you mail it on a Wednesday morning. Priya sees the receipt on the kitchen counter. She looks at you. She says, "You don't need to be quiet about it." You say, "I know. I'm not being quiet. I'm just remembering." The leather notebook from age 30 is still on your desk. The corners are worn. You have started a second one. You do not throw the first one away. At level 6, you do not own the wealth. You steward it. Level 7, age 56. The final ledger. 26 years after the layoff, the firm sold for $74 million. Your share, after taxes, after Mira's share, after the earlier private investor, $19.2 million. The wire hits on a Monday in August. You see the number on your phone at 10:14 a.m. while you are standing in the kitchen of the Long Island house you bought 20 years ago. You set the phone down on the counter. You walk into the living room. You sit on the couch. You do not say anything for 43 minutes. Priya finds you there. She does not ask. She sits next to you. She takes your hand. Total net worth, $34 million. You will never spend it. You know this. The math has long since stopped being about you. Sophia is 30. She is married. She has a son. He is 2. His name is Jonah. You hold him on a Sunday in October, and you think about the man who walked across a parking lot in March of 2026 holding a cardboard box. Think about the laminated card from your father's wallet. You think about how everything that mattered, everything that came after, started in a parking lot at 4:17 p.m. on a Tuesday. Anna is 17. She is applying to college. She wants to study public health. You ask her one night, sitting on the back porch in late September, if she wants you to pay for any of it. She says, "I want to take loans. I want to feel the weight." You laugh. You say, "That's your mother in you." She smiles. Cardboard box from the layoff is in the attic. You have not opened it in 26 years. On a Saturday afternoon in November, you climb the pull-down ladder. You open the box. The coffee mug is still there. Sophia's kindergarten painting on the side, faded. The leather notebook from age 30. A laminated card from your father's wallet. A receipt from a Northern Boulevard gas station. 3 pens. You sit on the attic floor for a long time. Take out the laminated card. You put it in your wallet. You leave the rest in the box. You walk downstairs. Sophia is in the kitchen. Jonah is on her hip. You take the laminated card out of your wallet. You hand it to your daughter. She does not ask what it is. She just takes it. You don't tell her. She'll find out later. They always do. At level 7, the ledger is not what you have. The ledger is what you hand down. It's 4:17 p.m. on a Tuesday in March 2026. Across town, a different man is walking across a different parking lot. He is 24. He has been at his job for 14 months. He just lost it. He is holding a small box. Inside, a notebook, 2 pens, a coffee mug, a photograph of his mother. He does not know what to do. He has $4,200 in his checking account. He has student loans. He has no kids. He has 19 LinkedIn notifications and a text from his girlfriend he hasn't read. He sits in his car in the parking lot. He puts his hands on the steering wheel. He stares straight ahead. He thinks, this is the end. It is not. He doesn't know it yet. But somewhere, Decades from now, there is an attic with a cardboard box in it. There is a leather notebook bought for $12.40 at a stationery store. There is a daughter holding a laminated card she does not yet understand. There is a hand on a couch, holding another hand on a Monday afternoon in August. He does not know any of this yet. The machine has already started. It always starts there.